Hello, Uncle Xavier. This presentation will help in the preparation for your new business venture. It begins with the breakdown of the due diligence process and narrows down your best options in your next career move, the gourmet pizza shop. You should always do your due diligence before investing to ensure a higher chance of success. Let's quickly run through the positives and negatives of purchasing a franchise, existing business, or a new startup business. Franchise business has a set customer base, less risk of failure, intellectual property provisions through licensing, less initial capital investment, and less effort to establish a brand or identity. Negatively, you don't have as much control over the business. You have to pay ongoing royalties for licensing, you won't retain your intellectual property, and you won't have as much potential profit or the ability to sell for profit at a later stage. Existing businesses positively have less planning involved, existing suppliers and customers, existing equipment, and experienced employees. Negatively, there is a high purchase investment cost, potential poor business image, potential inaccuracy of data, and modernization required. New startup business has more flexibility and freedom, potential for higher profits, simplest and cheapest entity to establish, and the owner can set own wages and more options in terms of sale, overhaul, and potential licensing of intellectual property. Negatively, it takes much longer to build a client base, brand awareness, and intellectual property base. Next, a breakdown of your previous employment, experience, and initial reasoning for the business venture before discussing the due diligence process. Having been in a position of financial advisor for the last 15 years, your income has been steady at approximately $150,000 a year, which is one of the highest average incomes for this position. Your previous career progression has left you with approximately $800,000 savings. This does not include your retirement superannuation contributions, which will also benefit your retirement living in the future. You have decided to progress into the gourmet pizza shop startup with $300,000 initial investment. With no debts unpaid, your overall decision and reasoning to go into a self-employed startup business is to give yourself and family a better life in the future through a trust fund. You deduce that the trust will be funded by either the progressive profits made by the business or the eventual profit made on sale of the business. Your market spans around the area of St. Lucia. This is one of Brisbane's most prestigious suburbs with a great surrounding of high-density populaces. It has a population base of over 12,000 people, not to mention the surrounding suburban areas. Main potential clients range from University of Queensland attendants and families based closer to the St. Peter's and Holy Family schools. Your immediate competitors are La Crust Gourmet Pizza, La Prosciutto St. Lucia, Domino's Pizza, and the Pizza Cafe. With such close competition, your business will have to rely on a sustainable competitive advantage. Due diligence surrounds the investigation of investments, legal, financial, relational, commercial, and operational risks. This is before, during, and after ownership of the business. The due diligence process is also ongoing. Due diligence constraints surrounds the technical, informational, financial, temporal, and legal factors of the business. That incorporates the technical skill involved to undertake due diligence, the difficulty in access to information for due diligence, additional funding to undertake the due diligence, timing between the intention and final decision affects the type of and extent of due diligence, and finally the laws surrounding due diligence can hinder access to all intellectual property and information of the business. Lack of due diligence can have consequences, followed by risk management that is imperative. Making a startup business requires a wide scope of due diligence. This also incorporates the conduction of your own research. Such factors include market research, online research, observing businesses, speaking to managers and staff of surrounding businesses, and researching basic legal requirements. In recommendation, I believe that your best chance of early success would be with the purchasing of an already successful private business. This requires less startup time. You have the skills to grow the business beyond its last owner's performances. You are passionate about being your own boss. You have more flexibility in the short term and less initial investment time, and you can achieve fast success within your next 5 years, which could end up with high yields for your retirement plan.